Hello and welcome to another video. In this one, I'm going to be giving a bit of a tips video for collecting manga. This is something that I started about 6 months or so ago now, so I wanted to kind of show off a little bit of my collection as well as give some tips for those out there who might be wanting to collect manga or just started kind of like me and are looking for some ways to kind of grow the collection, do it in smart ways, not become overwhelmed by the hobby. So let's get ready, let's jump in. So for me, there was a couple of things that started getting me interested in collecting manga. The first was my love for anime and some anime series, and that one of the big ones was Vinland Saga. So this is the most recent edition of the book that I have in my collection. This is book 5 of the deluxe edition, which we'll be talking about a couple of different edition things to consider when you're wanting to pick up stuff for your collection. But for me, I went with the deluxe editions. There's my dog. The deluxe editions of the Vinland Saga, and then another series that was one of the ones that first got me into it was Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I loved the anime, wanted to know what was next in the story, so I started collecting that one. So those are the ones that kind of kicked things off for me. And that kind of brings me to my first point of picking what series you want to jump into the hobby with or get started with. One of the best things I saw in a video that I watched not too long ago as far as tips for collecting manga, and this could probably apply to a lot of different things, but more specifically for the reasons of this video, we'll talk about it in the realm of manga, is just pick 2 to 3 series that you're going to start with. And one of the things that I thought was a really good way of putting it was pick a series that's complete and pick a series that's ongoing. Now, I didn't do that. All the series that I've started, except for one, as far as my collection goes, are ongoing series, but I'm only actively reading 3 different series right now. So obviously, I'm reading Vinland Saga. I'm not on book 5 yet. I'm on book 4, but that is one that I decided to go with the deluxe editions on, which again I'll talk about soon. And then there was Frieren. And then besides that, I'm also reading Solo Leveling. So all 3 of these series are currently ongoing. Vinland Saga sounds like it's going to be wrapping up sometime this year. Frieren is still relatively new, just been going on for a few years now, but we'll see. They just came off of a hiatus for the manga, so that gave me a chance to kind of catch up a little bit. There's still... Let's see, I'm up to volume 9 from Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and there's 14 volumes I'm right now. So I got about 5 more to pick up, and then I will be all caught up on that series. I'm currently reading volume 8. So that's one that I'm picking them up as I'm reading them. Same thing with Solo Leveling, picking them up as I'm reading them, and there's 15 of those. Now this one is a little bit more expensive per volume. These retail for 20 because they're, color, the whole thing is color. But I usually get them on Amazon, and I've found them for about $15 each. Frieren is more traditional in that it's all, black and white, but they're lighter. They're not in color, so you can get them a little bit cheaper. They retail for $11.99. You can usually find them for about that or a couple dollars cheaper on Amazon. So pick a few series that you're interested in getting into at first, whether they are ongoing ones or ones that are completed. I do think it's a really good suggestion to go with 2, 3 tops that you're actively reading. Now, again, I have broken that rule in that I'm collecting beyond that, but I do also have a couple volumes for Spy Family. Now, these ones, I haven't started reading the series yet, but I got these for Christmas last year, and I'm just kind of holding off on these. If I ever find a good sale on some, I might pick some up, but I'm not starting them until I'm totally caught up with Frieren, and then probably totally caught up with Vinland Saga as well, seeing as those are the 2 series I've most progressed on and closest to completing, because as far as the deluxe editions go for this, there's 1 more that's currently out and 1 more that comes out in September, and then we won't know when the next one's coming out beyond that. And then, like I said, this one, 4 or 5 more volumes, and I'm all caught up on that. Same thing with this one. I'm only 3 volumes in. I've collected the first 3 so far because these are a little bit pricier, so I don't get as many of them as I do something like Frieren. So just keep that in mind when you're collecting. Don't go out and buy, the first volume for every anime series that you like, because it's going to be overwhelming and you're going to have a ton of first volumes and you're not going to be able to continue the story because you might run out of money. So that's just a side point of budgeting to make sure you're staying within your financial means to be able to pick these up for your collection. So first tip, pick a 2 or 3 series that you want to focus on collecting, whether they are actively ongoing series or completed ones. I think that's a really good starting point from here. And then we have editions. So you saw here, we have Frieren, which is kind of a standard volume edition, Spy Family standard volume edition form. They're the cheapest way, typically, volume by volume, to get the series, and they look, you know, really cool when you got them all lined up on the shelf like that, to be able to see all the different artwork and stuff like that on them. Each cover, you know, is a little bit different, features some different artwork here and there. So typically the cheapest way, volume by volume, is to go with the traditional volume way. It might be a little different if you got a color one. This is a manhwa, not a manga, so that's a Korean series, so that's part of why, you know, it's a little bit more pricey here and there, but it might be worth your while to go with a deluxe edition. For me, I did the math, and that's my tip for this one, is do the math when you're looking to pick up a series. I did the math, and Vinland Saga comes in these deluxe editions or the 2-in-1 hardcovers, which are really nice editions, but there's currently, I think, 14 of those, and they're about $20 each. Now, Amazon might have them a little cheaper, that's the MSRP, but these, though they MSRP at $55 each, you can typically get them for $30 to $35 each. And so these are 3-in-1s, so if you break that down, you're spending about $10 per individual volume that's included in here. And these being the deluxe editions, they have lots of cool behind the scenes stuff in here as well, some interviews with the creator, the artist, all that kind of stuff. So that's one thing you want to consider, is do you want to go with the single volume editions of a series, or if there are different deluxe editions, picking the one that makes the most sense for you for what you want of the collection. Or maybe your biggest thing is just finances. For me, as you can tell behind me, movies are a big hobby for me. I collect a lot of movies. So that's my primary hobby that I'm into. Reading is something that's relatively new for me as far as a hobby goes, in collecting books over the past year or so. So I'm trying to temper my behavior when it comes to picking what series I'm going to be picking up and collecting. So there's a lot to consider when you have multiple hobbies that you're juggling as well. Another thing that's really cool is some do have kind of single volume deluxe editions. For me, this was not the cheapest option as far as picking up this series. You can get a box set that has all of Full Metal Alchemist for, I think it's like $150. These are they have like 1.5 volumes in each of them, but they're really cool because each one has a different character featured on it. So that's a really cool way of doing it. And each one, you know, has that artwork throughout, some concept art here and there. And they're just quality hardcovers. They got really nice kind of shelf appeal to them that it's really fun to see on the shelf and stuff. So that might be a way you want to go too, is you want to go on the more display looking side of things. These are a little pricier again. They're kind of in the same realm as the solo levelings. They're not color, but because they're more of a deluxe hardcover edition, they're going to be a slightly pricier way of getting it. But for me, that made sense to jumpstart this because I got this first 6 in an eBay kind of bundle for like $50. So I saved some money on these first 6 in the series, and there's 18 of them total. So this isn't a series I'm actively reading. So again, you know, I broke my rule as far as, you know, collecting only so many at a time, but I'm telling myself, you know, even though I'm collecting a few other series, I'm not always reading all of those series. So Spy Family and Full Metal Alchemist haven't read yet, just, you know, if it makes sense, grabbing a few of them here and there. So that's tip number 2 as far as sticking with or picking what kind of editions you might want to go with for different books and series. And lastly, I think the biggest tip is just have fun with it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't go and grab, you know, everything out there that you want to pick up. I've already kind of touched on it some, but like for me, I wasn't a manga reader for the longest time, but Frieren and Vinland Saga, those are the ones that got me to want to check it out, want to know what's next in the story to get ahead of the anime series. So for me, it was something that I was passionate about. They're series that I'm passionate about, and they're the ones I know I'll go back and revisit because I've already watched the anime and now I want to experience the story again from the beginning, from the original source material. So just have fun with it. Enjoy the collecting process. Don't feel like you have to build it up and get it all at once. Part of the reason I have as many of these as I do so far is like half of them I've gotten as birthday presents and holiday presents and stuff like that. So like take advantage of holidays and celebrations and stuff like that. Throw them on some gift wish lists here and there. Maybe you'll get some extra stuff along the way to save you some money, but enjoy it, have fun with it, and follow all those tips, and I think you'll really enjoy collecting manga. So thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I will see you in the next one.